What's happening YouTube? Champion 2D Rob back again with another video, guys, and this is going to be another pickups. I think it might be my last gaming pickups for this year, probably, at least prior to Christmas. I've got a couple of things coming, but I think I'm probably going to hold those back until I've built up a little bit more. But yeah, this is basically going to be the remainder of my pickups, gaming pickups, should I say. I do plan on making a Blu-rays pickup vid as well. I've been meaning to do that one. I'm just too lazy sometimes. I don't get around to it. But anyway, yeah. So this is going to be a gaming pickups vid, guys. It's going to be mostly Switch, but there are some PS4 games here, and I've also got a 3DS game here as well. And there was two games here that I just forgot to include in my previous two videos as well. I don't know why I forgot them, but there you go. So the very first game, let's get started now. The first game I've got here is for the 3DS, and this is actually quite an interesting one. This game never got a physical release in the UK, and it's based on an IP that I'm a big fan of, very nostalgic for. Although this one is based off the sequel series, which came out a few years ago. But I was really chuffed to find out that I didn't even know about this game. I mean, I knew about the game, but as far as I was aware, it was a digital only release. And then I found out that in France, it had been given a physical release. So the moment I found that out, I went after it on eBay. I found it. It was a bit pricey. But you know what? Because I'm a fan of the IP and you just don't get games based on this series at all, I jumped on it. And the game I picked up is the Mysterious Cities of Gold. So yeah, this is quite an uncommon title. For those that don't know, this is basically sort of like a top-down adventure game. It's based on the old early 80s cartoon series, Mysterious Cities of Gold. If you're a certain age, you'll know what I'm talking about. Although, like I said before, this one is actually based on the sequel series that came out a few years back, which I own on Blu-ray, but I've yet to watch it. I need to get around to that. But yeah, I just the concept of knowing that there's a Mysterious Cities of Gold game out there, I just had to have it, really. You know, I've actually not had a chance to try this one out yet, but you know, whether it's mid, you know, or shit, I don't know. We're gonna find out. But I know people that have played this game on the Wii U. They said it was pretty good, so hopefully it's enjoyable. But yeah, it's quite an uncommon one as well to get. So also, I think just for from a collector's perspective as well, I think it's worth picking up just for that reason alone. Moving on, here's a title that I actually forgot to include in my last, well, not my last, my PS4 pickups vid, my PlayStation pickups vid, and it's Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I picked this up. I've been meaning to pick this up for like a really long time, and I was waiting for a price to drop on it, and it was at a certain price I just wasn't willing to pay. And also, what really wanted me to get it as well is that when they announced the sequel to this game, which at the moment is going to be a Xbox exclusive, although with the way things are going, that might change. So I thought I'd pick this one up. I've been meaning to give it a go. I hear it's a short game, but it's a good one. So you know, hopefully I'll enjoy it. Next PlayStation 4 game I've got here, and this is one. It's really more just for the collection. I've already completed this game. I own a version of this game already. This is basically like the definitive edition, and I enjoyed it. I do feel it was the weakest in the series, but I did enjoy this game. But this one has all the DLC included, hopefully on the disc, and that is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So yeah, really just for collector's purposes. I already have owned this game. I've played through the game. I've really enjoyed the Tomb Raider reboot series. I really did. I do think this one is the weakest, but that's not really a knock on it because I think the series is pretty strong. But in my opinion, the first one is the best one, and this one for me was the weakest. I think they kind of toned down a lot of the combat to focus on exploration, but for me, it kind of made the worlds feel a little bit empty. In places, there's still shooting and combat that takes place, but it's not as frequent as the previous games. I get why they did that, but I don't think it was probably the right choice for this particular game series. It worked in the earlier games, but I think for this one, it needed a bit more combat. And it kind of made this game feel a little bit empty. But I still enjoyed it though. It was still a really good game. I really dug it. And the next game I've got here for the PlayStation 4, and this was a big one. This is one that when they announced it, I was so excited. I mean, honestly, there have been very few times where I've been so excited for a game that I was literally like just on the edge of when they were going to drop a physical copy of it. And the game I'm talking about is the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. I'm going to say this, right? When I first saw the announcement for this, because it happened on a Nintendo Direct, like, forget Metroid 4, forget any of those other games. This was the one that had me hyped, man. I could not even believe what I was seeing when they were announcing the games on this compilation. I mean, just my childhood just wrapped up in one plastic case. Like, honestly, I mean, I think I can actually say this is the first compilation that I own where I can actually say I've played every single one of these games at the arcade at the time. And so I've got a lot of fond memories of each and every game on here. For those that don't know, this is basically all the Marvel vs. Capcom fighting games. So you've got X-Men Children of the Atom, you've got Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And you've also got The Punisher, which was the side-scrolling beat-em-up, and it's actually the first game that Capcom put out with the Marvel license. And probably the two games that I was really, really excited for, believe it or not, was actually The Punisher and X-Men Children of the Atom. Now, they're not necessarily my favourite games on this compilation. I absolutely love X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But the reason why those two stood out to me is because X-Men Children of the Atom is probably the first time we're getting a proper arcade port of the game, because the Saturn port of the game is awesome. It is a fantastic port of the game, but it's not perfect because it doesn't use a RAM cart, so it's not a perfect port. And The Punisher, this is the first time The Punisher was getting a official home release. I mean, there was a port of the game for the Mega Drive, which, to be fair, I actually think is all right. I mean, graphically, it's not a patch on the arcade version, but it plays fine. I think they focused on the gameplay, and I think it works. It's a fine game, but the arcade is really where it's at. And I was so happy to get this. I put it straight on. What I've been playing through. I spent most of my time playing X-Men, Children of the Atom, and The Punisher, and just been loving it. This is just so happy to get this. I honestly, this is like, I never thought I would see such a compilation. It was like, prior to this, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles compilation that they put out, I never thought I would see that compilation. And just like this one, I never thought I would see this. So yeah, very, very, very happy with that. And of course, I had to get it on the Switch as well. And believe it or not, I've been playing them on both. I just like to have them both for convenience sake. And absolutely loving it. Although what's interesting about this version, because this is the American version, because the UK version of the Switch release is a code in a box, which is an absolute fucking crime. Sorry about the swearing, guys, but sometimes this kind of stuff just really annoys the crap out of me. But what's also really cool about the American release is that it actually comes with a... it's not a manual, it's a comic book. So I thought that was really cool. So the Americans got treated and we got shitted on. You know, I mean, we at least got a PS4 version with no comic, but still. But nice to see I could at least get my hands on the American version. And yeah, just love playing them on both. Yeah, just fantastic. Absolutely chuffed to bits with that release. Next up, and this is actually my most recent game I picked up for the Switch. And it actually just arrived today, so I've not had a chance to play it yet, although I'm very excited to give this a go. Now, normally, I probably would have waited for this to come down in price, but there's some games that are on this compilation that just made me want to get it right away. So I picked up the Taito Milestones Volume 3. And the reason why I couldn't wait to pick this up is because it has the 3 Rastan games. And the very first Rastan game, I really do enjoy. It's an action platformer, really a lot of fun to play. But the one I was really excited to play on this is Rastan 3. Also known, I forgot what it's called. It has a different name. It's not, is it? I can't remember what it's called. But I think it's called Warrior Blade, something like that. But it's an awesome side-scrolling beat-em-up with some fantastic graphics. So I was really excited to play that. It's called Warrior Blade, that's it, it's Warrior Blade. And I also wanted to try out the arcade version of Thunder Fox as well. So not a lot of games on here. You know, this is not like the Taito compilations that came out on the PS2 that had like 40 games a piece, you know. Unfortunately nowadays they choose to just give us like a handful of titles at a time. But you know what, whatever. I'm happy to get this. I'm excited to put this on. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Yeah, just, you know, it's also got some other well-known games here like Bubble Bobble. Oh, it's got Run Arc on here as well. Although I know it as Growl, which is basically like an Indiana Jones-inspired side-scrolling beat-em-up as well. So that's cool. That's cool to get on here as well. So yeah, chuffed a bit with that. Next game I have here, and I picked up the Doinksoft Collection, and this is one that I've been meaning to get for a while. I waited for it to drop in price. So this has got 3 games in one, and the game I'm most excited to play on here is Demon Throttle. Now you can get an individual copy of that, but I wanted to get the other 2 games as well, especially Gato Roboto, which is quite a cool Metroidvania style of game. And the other one here is called Gunbrella, which I believe it's an action platformer as well. And I waited to get it at a reduced price, and I managed to get it for 20 quid. So I thought that was a very good price for 3 games. So yeah, that's basically what it was. I just waited for a price drop, and as soon as I saw it drop to 20 quid, I pounced on it. Another one I picked up here. This is, again, I don't know if this is going to be any good, but I just bought it because it was a sequel. Again, this was another one that I was waiting for a price drop on it. And again, I managed to bag it for 20 quid. And that is Asterix and Obelix Slap 'em All 2. So this is the side-scrolling beat-em-up. This is the sequel to the previous title, obviously, because it's got 2 on the title. But the first game is all right. It's okay. I mean, I know a lot of people they're not too impressed by the titles that come out through Microids. The first game is fine. It looks amazing. It's perfectly playable. I think maybe the level design is a little bit bland, a little bit too straightforward, but graphically it's good and it plays great. So, you know, I just want a bit more of the same, really, which is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting this to be a bit more of the same. I'm not really expecting this to blow my mind or do anything innovative, but as long as it's fun. And I've always enjoyed Asterix and Obelix. In fact, I was always hoping that they would put out the OG side-scrolling beat-em-up of Asterix. I've played that on MAME a few times, and I would really love to get a physical of that as well. but it seems like a missed opportunity to not include it as in these games. You know, would have been really cool. But either way, you know, just to get some sort of Asterix game and a side-scrolling beat 'em up as well. So, you know, to get the second one, chuffed to get that. Next one I've got here, and this is a game that I would have had ages ago, but I originally went for the collector's edition from Strictly Limited, but then I decided to cancel all my orders because I just didn't want to wait anymore. So once I cancelled all the orders, I just went for the regular copy, and that is Shadow of the Ninja Reborn. So yeah, I've wanted to own this for a very, very long time. Chuffed to finally have it. An excellent side-scrolling action title based on the NES game, which I do enjoy quite a bit. Ninja Gaiden-esque. So yeah, really chuffed to get this one finally. Next one I have here, and this is a game I got from Limited Run. My single Limited Run release, and that is the collection of Valis III. So this is basically the third volume in a collection of Valis games. And this one actually has Super Valis IV, which is actually my favourite in the series. I do own that game on the Super Famicom. It's very sort of Castlevania-esque. It's, you know, action platformer style. I'm not too familiar with the other Valis games besides the ones that I've played, because they were never really released in the UK. To my knowledge, only Super Valis 4 came out in the UK, I believe. But the rest of them are, I know some came out on the Mega Drive, but I think only Japanese Mega Drive and the US Genesis. But yeah, they're just sort of like action platformers, very anime-esque. And but like I said, I really wanted this one just for Super Valis 4. Just to, you know, another retro game that I enjoy to play on a modern console. Next one I have here, and this is a game that I actually tried to get this time last year, but I think it basically went out of print. The Switch version anyway, and fortunately it seemed to have, you know, they printed up new copies, and again I waited for it to come to a decent price, got it for 20 quid, and that is the Grinch Christmas Adventures. So I just want something that I can play over this season. I actually wanted to have this last year, but I missed out on it, and it was sold out everywhere for a time. But at least they reprinted it. It's a 2D action platformer, and it looks pretty decent, to be fair. I mean, the reviews have actually been pretty solid. Not too amazing, you know, nothing too crazy, but for what it is, it's pretty decent from what I've heard. So I'm looking forward to playing this over the festive season. And the next one I have here, and this is one I was really chuffed to get. I did have to buy this game through a roundabout way just because I didn't want to go through Strictly Limited. I just refused to buy from them from this point forward. And that game is Iron Meat. So I picked this up through VGP. I pre-ordered it through them, because fortunately they're also taking on stock from Strictly Limited, and so I basically pre-ordered this, and I also pre-ordered this with the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. So I actually had to wait a little bit because they don't release the games until they have both your copies to hand. So this one came out first, but I had to wait a little bit longer. But it finally arrived. Really chuffed to bits with this one. So this is a side-scrolling run and gun, very much influenced by Contra, and it's fantastic. It really is. The soundtrack is awesome. The gameplay is solid. It's really fun. I was having a lot of fun playing this. As you would expect, quite tough, but still really cool one to get. I'm actually very chuffed to finally get this and not have to go through Strictly Limited. But yeah, really chuffed. And finally, guys, this is a game that I forgot to include in my last Switch video. I don't know why. It was sitting right beside me, but I completely missed it out. And it's an awesome one as well. And This is, of course, the Switch version of King of Fighters 13. So this is the collector's edition from Pix and Love, and I absolutely love their collector's editions. It comes in these awesome hard shell shock boxes, and they come with a soundtrack and an art book and all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I love King of Fighters 13. I said it in my PlayStation 4, in my PlayStation pickups vid, because I also picked up a PS4 copy. This is one of my favourite King of Fighters games. The hand-drawn art style of it is just beautiful. It's some of my favourite 2D art that I've seen in the video game. And I had to get the collector's set for the Switch to go with the other ones that I have. So yeah, very, very chuffed to get this as well. So that is it, guys. That's basically going to be my gaming pickups for, at least for before Christmas. I don't know if I'll do one after Christmas. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's basically the last of my sort of gaming pickups. Like I said, I might try and do a Blu-rays and comics and stuff pickups vid before we get to Christmas. We'll see. But yeah, that's basically the remainder of it. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate people that take time to watch my videos. And again, guys, let me know in the comments what you think of the games. Is there anything you're interested in? Anything you've played? Let me know. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it there, guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.